Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a brand new Pokemon in the world of Pokemon Go, Regidrago. Regidrago is a pure Dragon-type Pokemon that can be encountered by beating elite raids. Now, Regidrago, as for the moveset, well, it definitely leaves something to be desired. It's running Bite as the fast move with Outrage and Hyper Beam. So running Bite with 2 nuke moves, this thing could definitely use some help in the moveset department. Regardless, I still wanted to try it out in some practice battles with members of my Discord. So without further ado, let's hop into the matches and check out Regidrago in action in the Ultra League. Hopping to the first match, picking up a positive lead, Aurorus into TREVENANT. Opponent goes for a catch onto Heracross. Unfortunately, I have a very nice counter available with my Giratina Origin. Giratina is going to be double resisting the counters, but I was not prepared for how much damage that Earthquake did. I'm going to overfarm and fire off a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball definitely going to hurt. Heracross is going to commit a shield. Heracross trying to make a play for switch advantage, and I don't blame them. I'm going to commit a shield here, as I'm a little worried it could potentially be something that Aurorus doesn't want to see in the back. So, if possible, I would like to keep switch advantage. I fire off the Ominous Wind. That is going to KO the Heracross. They're going to send back in the TREVENANT, and I think they honestly might blind Seed Bomb here, so I send in Regidrago. TREVENANT went for the blind Seed Bomb. Let's go. Regidrago, these bites are tearing through the TREVENANT. Trev is going to bank a bunch of energy and send in Shadow Wall Rain. I farm up and send in Aurorus. At this point, I should be able to win the game with Regidrago. They can take me out with an Earthquake, that's perfectly fine, but I should be able to make it to an Outrage on Regidrago, which should be enough to KO the Wall Rain. Opponent goes for a bait, and now I definitely have the game won. They're going to go for another Icicle Spear. That's not quite going to KO. I'm going to farm up, leave as little farm for the TREVENANT as possible, and fire off the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam is going to KO. Opponent goes for the Seed Bomb right off the bat. Honestly, the Powder Stone probably would have KO'd, so they kind of have to do that. They do have the back-to-back Seed Bombs, but Seed Bomb not quite going to be enough to KO. Regidrago bites down, and that is a good game. Picking up a pretty decent lead in the next match, Aurorus into Shadow Charizard. Charizard is going to farm up energy, save switch into a Escavalier, and I'm going to respond with my Giratina. Giratina will be able to tank whatever they throw here. Escav is going to fire off the Mega Horn. Mega Horn does do slightly more damage than Drill Run, so my opponent, anticipating I'm not going to let them reach a second move, goes for the move that can do more damage. Shadow Ball is going to KO. Back in comes the Shadow Charizard. Charizard firing off the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw into the Giratina. Giratina with a sliver of HP, able to survive and fire off the Ominous Wind. Ominous Wind is going to get a shield, and I have the Meteor Beam loaded on Aurorus, so I am not baiting. Meteor Beam able to land in the back. They have Registeel, and now we have a battle of Regi New versus Regi Old. Regidrago versus Registeel. Registeel is going to fire off the Zap Cannon bait, looking for the attack drop, and they do get the attack drop. That is a bit unfortunate. As you can see, it takes so long to get to a charge move with Regidrago. I'm firing off the Outrage that is resisted and debuffed, so Registeel able to tank it. I will respect a potential Focus Blast, but my opponent is just going straight Zap Cannon, looking for the attack debuffs, and they're getting them as well. I continue to farm. I am going to burn my final shield here. Opponent goes for yet another Zap Cannon, and they get a third debuff, and now I'm going to bank an Outrage, switch into the Aurorus to catch a move. Let's go. Registeel went for another Zap Cannon. That is not going to KO, and from here, this game should be won. I can make it to a Meteor Beam with Aurorus. They have to shield it, and then we have the Outrage loaded on Regidrago to take care of the Registeel. Registeel will fire off the Focus Blast here. Focus Blast is going to KO, but we have the Outrage loaded on Regidrago. Regidrago takes down Registeel, and that is a good game. Moving into the next match, leading Aurorus into Gengar. I would much prefer Gengar aligned against my Regidrago, but unfortunately, I am stuck with it on the lead. I'm going to farm up and fire off a Weather Ball bait as I reach the Meteor Beam. Weather Ball gets no shielded. That's some extreme bravery from my opponent. I aggressively switch in Regidrago, trying to go for the bite down. They're able to withstand the bites and make it to a Shadow Ball before they get KO'd. In comes Charizard. Charizard looking for the wing attack down. Regidrago is just so slow. It can't get to a move. And my goodness, This Charizard's energy is about to absolutely crush in the endgame. Charizard fires off the Blast Burn. That is going to get me low. I'm going to return fire with the Meteor Beam. Meteor Beam would easily one-shot, so they are going to put up a shield. They send in Swampert, get the farm down, and at this point, unfortunately, I think this is probably just going to be game over. I need to call a Hydro or shield an Earthquake. I commit the shield, I get baited, and that should be the final nail in the coffin, unfortunately, because Shadow Ball does not quite KO here. Shadow Ball does get the Swampert extremely low, but Swampert does make it to the Earthquake. That is going to pressure my final shield, and from here, Charizard should be able to make it to the 2 Dragon Claws that it's going to need to win this game. They fire off Dragon Claw number 1. I'm able to return fire with the Ominous Wind. At this point, I need a boost to try and save me. Ominous Wind gets the shield, and we do not see a boost. Charizard able to outpace, make it to the Dragon Claw. Dragon Claw will take care of the Giratina, and that's game over. We've got some extreme spice in the next match. Aurorus going up against Delphox. Delphox, definitely a pretty cool pick. I'm going to farm up with Aurorus, switch into Giratina, and catch the move. I should resist whatever they throw here. Delphox fired off the Flame Charge, and my opponent now going to send in Aggron. Aggron, not the fastest Pokemon when it comes to getting to charge moves, but it does have some okay bulk in the Ultra League. We do see a shield being used, Aggron continuing to farm, Aggron makes it to a charge move. I want to try and get shields down, because if I can get shields down, that's my best bet to try and let Regidrago actually land a charge move. So I'm going to fire off the Shadow Ball, opponent commits the shield, opponent looking for the farm down, Giratina able to survive with a sliver of HP, make it to the Shadow Ball, and KO the Aggron. Let's go. In comes Delphox. Delphox able to get the farm down, but now I can align it onto Regidrago. Regidrago looking for the farm down. I'm going to let this move through. My opponent fires off a Psychic from Delphox, and they send in Lugia. Come on, make it to the Outrage. Regidrago, it's just so slow. Thankfully, I can make it to the Meteor Beam, but man, it is so slow to get the charge moves. Meteor Beam KOs. We're going to be able to make it to a move versus the Delphox, but again, the slowness of Regidrago when getting to charge moves is extremely, extremely unfortunate. Moving into the next match, we see Aurorus into Typhlosion. With a fire lead, I have 2 dragons in the back, so I am going to look to switch and catch a move onto my Giratina. This way I can save energy on Aurorus for later, and Blast Burn, of course, is going to be resisted. My opponent now going to send in Gengar. Gengar, of course, going to fire off the Shadow Punch as soon as they get it, and Shadow Punch will be lethal. That's a bit unfortunate, but I do have a nice answer to Gengar available with Regidrago. Opponent tries to make it to a Shadow Ball, but the bite damage is just too much. In the back is Ampharos. The nice thing is I am resisting the Volt Switches, but they build up to 4. It could be Dragon Pulse, but I get baited with a Thunder Punch. That is not great. There, I mistime my charge move and give them an entire free Volt Switch, which is really unfortunate. I'm going to continue to farm up with Regidrago. Opponent firing off a move. I'm going to let this go. Opponent is running Focus Blast. Down goes Regidrago. Opponent going to switch back into Typhlosion when I send in Aurorus, and I am not baiting. Meteor Beam does get the shield. Typhlosion farming up. Typhlosion does have a lot of energy here, and I will expend my final shield. I should be able to throw 2 Powder Snows and the Meteor Beam, and this will give me a nice energy lead to be able to outpace the Ampharos. Meteor Beam lands. I am now double boosted. I make it to the Weather Ball. Weather Ball at +2 attack. Definitely going to be taking care of the Ampharos and securing the win. Moving into the next match, leading Aurorus into another Gengar. I'm going to stay in this lead as I did before, but I may look to eventually switch out of it. I'm farming up here to the Meteor Beam, looking to bait with a Weather Ball, and then, unfortunately, we do have some lag. Thankfully, I am able to fire off my Weather Ball. That's going to get a shield from my opponent, and my opponent is going to fire off their charge move right away. I'm going to call a bait. I get hit with a Shadow Ball. Now I'm going to send in Regidrago. I believe this should only be a Shadow Punch, so I let it through, but my opponent got free energy when I lagged, and now they send in Swampert. That is absolutely awful, as I was not expecting that to be a Shadow Ball already. My Regidrago is now pretty low, and I just have to entirely rely on Giratina to try and win this game. I'm going to be firing off a Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to land. Opponent will make it to the Earthquake, so I will commit a shield here. Earthquake, of course, would do a ton of damage. We'll have to see. We know they still have the Gengar. In the back, they have a Shadow Tyranitar, and there's just nothing my Giratina can do. Mad props to the spice there by my opponent. They brought a pretty cool pick, and it ends up paying off for them in a massive way, because even if I'm able to land the Shadow Ball, it's just not going to do enough damage. I'm waiting for the snipe. Opponent sends in Gengar. Regidrago farms down, but as you see, I still don't make it to the outrage. Regidrago is just too slow, and that's game over. Alright, moving into the next match, Aurorus into Talonflame. Pretty decent matchup for Aurorus. Opponent is going to save switch into Cresselia, and here I definitely made a mistake. I should have brought in Regidrago. This is one of the few matchups, Cresselia into Regidrago, where I believe Regidrago can actually put up a nice fight. Whereas I send in Giratina, and now I'm thinking, am I ever going to get a good matchup with Regidrago ever again? At this point, I'm more than happy to just play out the zeros. Unfortunately, lose switch, but I will get farm on Regidrago, and Regidrago needs all the energy lead it can get. I have an energy lead. Can I now outpace Talonflame? No, I cannot. It's still incredibly slow. Regidrago does have some okay bulk, like I'm able to tank a Brave Bird, which is pretty nice, and I'm going to farm up, fire off the Outrage, and this will be lethal unless they commit a shield. Outrage is able to land in the back. They have Gallade, and this is incredibly bad. At this point, I only see one win con, landing a Meteor Beam and farming down. I Meteor Beam, opponent lets it through, and now I see a win con. I just have to try and Powder Snow down. Opponent going to be firing off Leaf Blades. The question is, can they make it to 3 Leaf Blades before I can farm down with my boosted Powder Snows? Leaf Blade gets the shield. Aurorus gets the farm down and the win. Moving into the next match, leading Aurorus into yet another Gengar. We faced Gengar twice on the lead, and both times it did not go well for us. I'm going to farm up. Again, going for a Weather Ball bait here, trying to grab a shield from my opponent. My opponent is going to let that through. My opponent over farming a massive amount, so I will commit the shield here. Opponent fires off the Shadow Ball there, and I'm able to farm down. I leave with a nice amount of energy. In comes Swampert. I'm going to pivot into my Giratina. Giratina, of course, will be able to apply a lot of pressure onto the Swampert. I'm firing off the Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball is going to land. They're very low on HP here, so I'm expecting they're going to full send. I commit the shield. I get baited with the Hydro Cannon. You have got to be kidding me. And now I am going to be hit with the Earthquake. Earthquake is going to land, getting the Giratina low in the back. My opponent is running Chandelure. As I mentioned, these are practice battles with members of my Discord, and they were definitely running some fun stuff, some pretty spicy stuff as well, so mad props to them. And now I'm just going to send in Regidrago. These bites tearing through the Chandelure. Chandelure running overheat. That did so much resisted damage. Swampert gets farmed down, and that's game over. Alright, hopping to the final match, leading Aurorus into Alakazam. They're running counters, so I need to switch out right away. Alakazam, of course, does have access to Shadow Ball, which would absolutely shred my Giratina. I fire off the Ominous Wind. I'm able to grab a shield. They're going to be returning fire here with a charge move. I commit the shield, and I get baited with a Fire Punch. That is not good. Giratina farming up. Alakazam doesn't make it to the Shadow Ball, and now my opponent is going to send in Melmetal. That is absolutely massive that they didn't make it to their move. Shadow Ball is going to land, and that is a lot of damage onto Melmetal. Melmetal going to be firing off either a Rock Slide or a Double Iron Bash. They are running Rock Slide. I'm going to farm up and go for the kill shot here with Shadow Ball. Shadow Ball will definitely be lethal. Shadow Ball able to KO in the back. My opponent has Darmanitan, and this is a matchup where Regidrago can actually do something. I'm probably not going to make it to a charge move, but the bite damage does add up here. Regidrago feels like a Pokemon that if it got any kind of a bait move or a better fast move, could actually have some play, but at the current moment, it's just so slow that you're mainly relying on fast move pressure to farm things down. In summary, Regidrago is a Pokemon that with a drastically better moveset could have potential, but at the current moment, with the moveset it has, it's only really a dex filler at best. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.